That's it.
So, let's go.
Beautiful.
Let's go, baby. Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to THATFIT Podcast number 2. Very special one. I've got one of my boys here. Just a couple of kids kicking it back in Hawke's Bay, and now we're living here on the Gold Coast, Australia. So I appreciate you coming on, bro. But today's guest is Leon Bragg. How you doing, bro?
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. And it's so awesome to be here. I feel like this is a manifestation of a couple of years ago. We're having a chat up on the porch up in Broadbeach about how we can have an impact on the world and how we can better our lives and how we can better ourselves. And I feel like we're living that purpose a lot more now, and it's happened in a very, very short space of time. So, yeah, I'm proud of you, bro, and it's awesome to see what you're doing and what you're creating.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Likewise, I'm proud of you and the effort that you've continued to put in for yourself and those around you. So I just want to touch on, obviously, it is Mental Health Awareness Month in November, and people obviously do go through mentally tough times. So as a mate, I just want to check in how you're doing physically and mentally.
Yeah, brother. I feel genuinely amazing. Mentally, physically, spiritually, feeling very, very good and in a good position. I think it's due to the people that I surround myself with mainly, and also doing things that are only in alignment for my greater good. So physically, I train like 3-4 times a week, very, very consistently with a group of boys here on the Gold Coast called Brotherhood, and they're about it's a group of conscious men bettering themselves physically. So we do a lot of training on the beach, and we do breathwork and meditation after that. So that's how I look after myself physically. Mentally, obviously, what I'm doing with Cool to Be Conscious, which I'm sure we'll touch on.
For sure.
And yeah, spiritually, just feeling very aligned and very present in the moment, not attaching to anything that's happened to me in the past, and not looking forward to the future either, just being here and enjoying this.
100%. And obviously now you just spoke on being spiritually. You never obviously used to be spiritually. I could agree, being around you and stuff like that. You're always a really good guy, but now with the work through Cool to Be Conscious, what is spiritually, what does that word mean to you right now?
So that's a really good question, bro. And I feel like the word spirituality gets lost in translation nowadays and age. Basically what spirituality means at its core, or what its essence is you're detaching from social norms. So you're detaching from things like societal pressure, or maybe things that society tells you that you need to be. So you're detaching from work, money, things that aren't really that important, and you're actually coming back to source. So you're coming back to who you really are. You're understanding yourself more. You're understanding your thoughts more, speaking more from your heart. So spirituality is basically just coming back to yourself and blocking out the distractions or the illusions of the outside world a little bit more. So that's what I've sort of done over the last probably 1.5, 2 years, is block out the noise of the external world, telling me who I was and sort of molding me to who I was supposed to be, or and sort of, and now I just feel like I am on the right path.
Yeah, for sure. So let's touch on the Call to Be Conscious. And my first, when I thought about this podcast, was obviously you're leading the group there, but what I want to touch on that first experience. How did you even find out about Call to Be Conscious? And do you remember the day, your first experience of, because was it a Sunday stillness session that you went to? Was that your first experience? Yes. So tell me about that whether you remember that day, who you spoke to, what the questions were, bro, because those questions are so good. And I'll touch on mine, but I want to understand your first session, who you spoke to, and what were the questions? Yeah,
so I feel like before I can touch on the first session, I sort of want to talk about where I came from. 100%. Because it aligns to how I'm here now.
Yeah.
And where I've come from, and because we're both from the same hometown,
100%.
You know that we don't get anything given to us.
Yeah.
That everything that we have, and
very blue collar, right?
Very.
Yeah.
Very blue collar. And it's also everything that you get in life is earned, and it's earned through hard work, and it's earned through sacrifice, because we don't get any handouts. So what happened is, it's a very funny story. So I came over to Australia and I actually continued the same unconscious patterns and the same unconscious thoughts and the same unconscious behavior. I just picked it up and brought it back.
Moved it somewhere else, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I found that I wasn't actually enjoying myself that much. And it was because my mindset wasn't quite right. I wasn't appreciative of what I actually had. And so as time went on, I actually burnt out a few times at work, and I had these I would call them anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
Because I was just under so much pressure from work.
Yeah. What did that feel like? Just to help people understand, like for you, what was the experience like? What did that feel like?
It just felt like life was purposeless. It felt like I couldn't get out of bed, or I didn't even have a reason really to get up and get my life together, because whatever I did, I couldn't seem to get ahead. Because,
well, why? You know, it's that question is like, why should I get up? And
why should I get up? Yeah, so it was like the world was coming in on me. And then I started looking into like Eastern philosophy. So I started looking into Buddhism and Taoism and things that you can learn to control your mind.
Control your mind, yep.
And after I started looking into that, I actually decided I needed to source someone who sort of does this and who can explain how I can pull myself up out of this rut that I'm in.
Yep.
And Call to Be Conscious got introduced to me by a mutual friend, and I was obviously, there's a stigma attached to it. So you're like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to do anything for me. And I went to the first
Is that your mindset as well? It's like, why should I even go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's sort of where you're at in your life, and you just think nothing's going to work for you. And I turned up, and I was obviously still skeptical. I was like, come on, guys. Like, you're walking around in shorts and t-shirt.
You're wasting my Sunday, man.
Yeah, you're wasting my Sunday and this and that. And then I tried breath work for the first time ever. And what breath work did is it just stripped me back and it smacked me on my ass and told me, you don't know what you're doing to yourself is so wrong. And you are so powerful and you're so strong and you're so confident. All you need to do is step into that.
Yeah.
You just need to step into that power. So the insight that I had on the first, because obviously I'd never done meditation or never done breath work. So it was so powerful for me. Yep. For someone that's in an unconscious state of mind every day, when you talk down on yourself every day and you're battling with an inner critic every day, when you try breath work or meditation, it is super, super powerful. So going back to your question, how I reacted, I started crying firstly because I felt so bad for all the people that I'd wronged in my life.
Come across,
Yeah. So I started feeling like sort of horrible for all the things that I'd done in my life that weren't quite right. But I also, started also feeling a lot of love and a lot of gratitude for the people that were around me that were really good people, and it just was overwhelming with emotion. So that was the first thing that happened to me. I was overwhelmed with a lot of happiness, but also a lot of sadness.
A lot of emotion, right?
And then I went up to Jacob and the boys from Call to Be Conscious.
And they were running it that day?
They were running it that time, and I just said, guys, what the hell happened? What just went on in my mind and what is going on in my body right now? Because I feel amazing and I feel like I'm a new person. I feel like I've been reborn and stripped all that negativity.
That mask, right? They always talk about the mask and stripping away the mask. And the couple of times that I've been, you talk about layers and existing outside the system, which is super cool. And I actually had a friend that came down on Sunday, and she must have had a similar experience, and the session had finished and she was just crying, man. But she had a sense of, she didn't know why she was crying, but at the same time she had this like real sense of fulfillment and like, fuck, this actually really changed the way I thought about this.
Yeah.
Because I asked her during the week, and, as you were like skeptical, like, I don't know if I want to, but that day she's like, I think I want to go Thursday.
Yeah, that's it.
So was it like that for you, where you went that first session, and how did everything progress from there to where you are now? So in terms of, did you start going more, and how often were you going?
Yeah. So it's a really good question. And yeah, absolutely. So when you have that type of profound experience, you just want more of it. You naturally want to figure out, how can I improve more? and how can I really strip away more of that negativity and more of that anxiety or more of that fear. A lot of the time what I see is it's fear. It's fear to even show up to that space. It takes a lot of courage just to show up because it's easy to stay in bed. And it's easy. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Sheets, bro. Especially during winter. At the moment, it's not too bad, but it's comfy in there.
It's hard. It's hard to get up out of bed, and we acknowledge that. It's really just a lot of effort to get up out of bed, to work on your mental health. So for myself, anyway, I was starting to achieve financial abundance, so I wasn't so scared about financial anymore. But my mental health had taken such a blow because of all the work that I'd done. I knew that this felt right and I needed to dive in deeper. So I started going every Sunday and I started going every Tuesday, and I was back to back. I was back to back every Tuesday, every Sunday, every Tuesday, every Sunday for about, I would say, 6 months. And in my downtime as well as working and working out.
You're working on top of that. You're doing more meditation, breath work.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I was learning about the different modalities of breath work. So I was learning about the origins and where it's come from. So it's passed down knowledge from our ancestors and how old it actually is and how it can change your brainwave state. So I looked into the science of it because I'm a very analytical type of person.
Very.
So for myself, I wanted to really believe in it. And for me, that came from looking into the science of it and understanding what it's actually doing to the physical body. And that took months and months and months. So I looked into different studies. What's happening in the brain this is why it was so profound for me, because I'm always up here and I'm always frantic. I'm always just go, go, go. So I'm hyper analytical. And it's called a beta brainwave state. So you're a high beta. And what you're doing with breathwork is you're coming into a low beta, almost into an alpha state. So it's just a lot more slower. And it gives you a lot more insight. You just get a lot more clarity. Everything just slows down. So the decisions you make are just better. They're just better decisions because you're more calculated. And that was the benefit that I got from just continuously going. I noticed that I was just making better decisions in life. I was making decisions that were going to better me in the future because I believed in myself, and I really, really started to love myself again. And I saw that inner power that was there. But one thing that the boys at Cool to Be Conscious are really good about, and this is what I'm trying to do, is just help people that just want a hand. You know, there's those people that are...
Some people are like that. Some people, like for me, it was like, just get me there. Let me experience it. But for some other people, it's like, hey, let's just get a little coffee before. Like, let's you know, that helping hand, you know, helping that kid cross the road. But, 100%. I feel that. And so carrying on with that in terms of, you know, grabbing a helping hand and stuff like that.
Yeah. So for me, the purpose of actually getting really good at breath work and meditation was actually to benefit myself. So I was achieving success, you know, success that's relative to my success that I've had.
Not obviously society's.
Not societal.
Success.
I was just happy, and I was also content with things like the financial and all those things that I'd never had. So I wanted to work on myself and just become like this high achieving, high performing, like gun salesman type of thing, which was my ego speaking at the time. And then all of a sudden, the purpose started to unfold for me. I started to go, okay, what I'm learning now, I can teach to other people, and all other people need is just a helping hand. All they want, all the people that I see, a lot of people that I see down at Sunday Stillness are literally just trying to figure out their lives, and they're just saying, can someone just help me? Can someone just give me even just a bit of guidance? Can someone just even give me a pat on the back and say, you're doing amazing? And even that can change someone's life.
100%, man. And that's the thing. We're so caught up in our own heads and our own minds and our own world is that we forget to tell people that they're actually doing a good job, bro. It's tough. Like life in general is just tough, which is people that are high achievers. Now that we're in this space now and you're in that space, is that you understand high achievers, right? And they've gone through probably these similar situations where it's moving from a calm mind, making better decisions bring a better life. And it's very interesting. And I always think about this. Sometimes it's just like, just do something randomly good, like buy someone a coffee or like just tell someone, you know, they look amazing or something like that. Is that it takes one thing. Yeah. It takes one thing to really change someone's mindset. So,
and I think personally where that stems from is having the empathy for other people is something that a lot of people now, and also myself, I've actually had to learn to care about other people again, because society tells you to be greedy, and it tells you
everything's yours, right?
Yeah, it tells you that you know, you need to go out and get these things in order to be seen as successful or to be seen as worthy. And I think it's all about sharing. We all have to share in that worthiness. We all have to actually help each other. We all have to help each other, because if I didn't have the hand that the boys gave me, I wouldn't be where I am now, because they really showed me the power that I have within myself. And this is a little bit about my purpose, which I'll touch on a little bit later. But I got to where I am now just through, it was just a grind. It's just like everything else that you want in life. It's just a bit of a grind, and it's all done behind closed doors. No one's cheering you on. No one's clapping
100%.
for you. It's a personal journey. This is a solo journey, what we're doing and what we're undertaking, all of us. And to be better, it took a lot of work, because I had a lot of conditioning and I had a lot of negative ideas about who I really was, and all these things that had happened to me in my life, and I actually told myself that over and over again. So it was about stripping all that away, which is like low vibrational, and actually stepping up into that higher version of yourself and really owning it, and owning who you are, owning your individuality, owning this new you, because you can change at any point in time.
And 100% that people are so afraid of change, but change is how we evolve. It's how we become better. And why do you think that, like, in terms of change, do you think it's so hard for people to change?
I think for some people it's because they are fearful of, I think it's because they're fearful of changing, because they're comfortable, and life's easy when you don't stand outside of the box and be seen. It's easy to be hidden, because I was very hidden. I didn't post on like social media or things for like 2.5 years or something like that, because I didn't want to show people, because I wasn't confident in where I was at, and I didn't want to give people the wrong perception or the wrong projection of who I really was. But now, because I really care about myself and I'm happy and content with who I am and where I'm at in my life, I feel like I can be seen again. So I feel like there's a hesitation for some people. They've got a lot of fear, and that could come from their friends or their family misconceiving this.
Because it's it's very environmental, right? If you change a lot, and to change, you have to get your existing environment, which if you've known for 24, 25 years, it takes a lot, and it's going to take a lot of years. And people, they'll be at that moment, they'll be like, that's 5 years of hard work that I have to go through. Like, I can't do that. But the thing is that you can, and it takes one step at a time, it takes one decision at a time, and it just takes betting on yourself for a long time. And on what you were talking about before, it's so hard to change. And the funniest, I heard this thing the other day, and it was by this philosopher, and it's, I was actually speaking to your brother Josh about it last night, and that if you don't put yourself under pressure, the universe will do it for you. And it's so true. Remember when we were back in Hawke's Bay, and like things were always going wrong and stuff like that, and it's the universe's way to put pressure on you, because you're not putting pressure on yourself to move and make change. So that's been super interesting. And you do read a lot? I feel like you read a lot. What do you sort of read?
So I read a lot now. Like, I'm juggling probably too many books at a time. Like I've got like,
addictive, eh?
It's addictive. And it's a journey, because this knowledge is important, and it's really, really good to read. It's really, really good to read, because what it does is over time you start learning these little bits of knowledge that you can, that help you along the journey. That you can apply. So I'm reading probably 3 or 4 different audiobooks. I'm reading a lot of, he's called Joe Dispenza, and Joe Dispenza is a neurosurgeon. So he's like a neuroscientist, and it's all about quantum. So quantum is
Quantum theory.
Quantum theory, yeah.
So there's a lot to that.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, and we could have. There's a podcast just on on this. So it's all about thinking about something. It's manifestation, more or less. It's about thinking about something and envisioning yourself there. This is how I got up to do what I'm doing now. Yeah. So I thought about myself speaking to 200 people. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I had no idea. I didn't have this opportunity a year ago. I had no idea this was going to happen to me. But I knew somehow I wanted to share these tools that were so impactful on me with other people. So I started to think about it a lot, and I started to envision, and I also even started to practice it. So I would even just be driving,
just talk to yourself and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I would just imagine speaking, but there's no difference to speaking to me and you than speaking to 200 people. It's just perception. So I started practicing and I started learning, and I really believed it. I actually started telling people, hey guys, I'm going to be speaking to 200 people down on the beach about mental health, spirituality, breath work. And they were like, well, how are you going to do that? I didn't even know how yet, but I just knew that I had that within me. Yeah. And it actually happens. It starts to happen. Yeah. It's really amazing. So Joe Dispenza is one, but also I started reading a lot about Buddhism, Taoism, Zen. I started learning about how to control parts of your brain, but also just a lot of self-help, motivation, trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. And yeah, I was reading a book. I feel like I was reading a new book every month. I was finishing a book every month and moving on. And also every minute of my downtime, I'm feeding my brain. I'm feeding my brain with good things. I'm not listening to, we had this chat before, so I'm not listening to negative music. That's a big one. So like swearing and things like that, I really cut all that out. And even my speech and how I speak about myself and how I speak about other people is a big one, because it says a lot about you.
It's a lot of reinforcement, right? Because whatever you think is what you speak.
Yeah.
I speak a lot as well. So Joe Dispenza, I dipped into his stuff a little bit, and he talked about that. Once you can imagine it, it's real. It's just the reality is catching up, and reality is just action, right? Yes. And it's just step by step. And then, because a lot of things come to fruition, and you talked about, I remember we talked a while ago, and writing down things is so important. Seeing it and thinking about it is so important in terms of the things you want to accomplish as well, in terms of goals.
Yeah, journaling. That's another amazing tool to use. A lot of people journal, and what they're really doing is they're stringing in this predictable future that they're creating for themselves. So they're saying, I am confident, I am confident, I am confident. Therefore, you have a higher chance of showing up as a confident person if you continually tell yourself and write down that you're confident. So a lot of that, I did a lot of journaling. I did a lot of reading to prepare myself, and I did a lot of workshops. And this is something that a lot of people don't know, but along with the sort of 5-minute or 10-minute breathwork and meditation, we also run day-long workshops. And day-long workshops, they take you a lot deeper. And that's where I had my first breakthrough. So that was, if we were to go back to the first question, is how I really got into breathwork and meditation. Was I was dipping my toes in, and I was obsessed with it because it was amazing. Yeah. But I went and did a full day experience, and that really just showed me how unconsciously I was living in all aspects of my life.
This is really good. So run us through a day at this workshop.
Yeah. Okay. So I was already at a stage where I thought I understood breathwork, and I thought I understood what it was all about, but also meditation. And I thought that all it was just calming your mind down. It was just calming your mind down. That's all it really was. And the full day, you get there, the first thing that we do, and this is another thing that a lot of people can do, and I see a lot of people, there's a big trend going around with ice baths. And the reason for ice baths, from my understanding and why I use it, is to build up your natural stress tolerances. Yeah. So if you can put yourself and your body in stressful situations more often than not, you build up. It's a new norm.
Makes sense.
So we get there. I'd done a bit of ice baths before this, and breathwork and meditation. Yeah. And you get there, and first thing you do is you get up and you lock eyes with someone that you don't know and you stare into a stranger's eyes for 5 minutes.
Non-stop.
5
minutes.
It's a long time.
How long did that feel for you? Did it feel like a long time?
For the first time I've ever done it, it felt like an hour.
An hour.
Yeah, for the first time I've ever done it, it felt like an hour because there's a natural uncomfortability.
Do you want to look away, right?
Yeah, there's a natural uncomfortability because you want to look away because you don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
You don't want to be seen. And you think the other person can see you and all your insecurities as well. So you just want to look away. And something amazing happens when you stare at someone for 5 minutes is you see them as you see yourself. So you recognize them for what they really are.
Yeah.
Just another human being, just like you. So you gain instantly. I was like, whoa, like we're valuable. Like humans are epic. Like
they're everything,
really
bro.
Cool.
That's the thing people don't understand is that we're everything. We determine how we progress and how we evolve as well. So,
Yeah. So that was amazing. I had a realization and it's crazy. You stare at someone for 5 minutes straight and you have these realizations. And then after that, we get up and we hug each other and then we go and we do an ice bath. So the ice bath's epic and it's just a big group of people. There's like 60 to 80 people there. And we're all cheering each other along because some people have never done ice baths. You know, there's people that are 60 years old, that are 80 years old.
Crazy.
There's people that have never
80?
done. Yeah, there's 80-year-old.
Yeah.
You know.
Is it like some of them their first time as well?
First time. First time, never done it. And they're down there just working on themselves. And it's beautiful to see. And we do the ice baths and you just feel amazing after an ice bath. I don't know if you've done too many ice baths.
One or two. When I was like playing rugby and stuff like that, the coldest thing I have at the moment is cold shower, but I know that's nowhere near. I mean, it's a start, but it's nowhere near ice bath, obviously.
Yeah, it's more or less the same idea. It's to build up that stress tolerance. Yeah. It's to put yourself in the uncomfortable so that your new tolerances are a lot higher. And it is real because now it takes a lot. It takes a lot to stress me out.
For sure.
Even people like blaring their horns at me in traffic, and I get people
just showing there like,
I just turn around.
I had
like
nothing.
No, I'm just super chill because I've just slowed down. I'm just cruising now.
Yeah,
and so we get that done, and then after that, that's when we do. And we could go into a whole nother thing again, which is masculine and feminine work, which I know we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
masculine and feminine work is basically sort of uncovering all of the negative things that you've done to the opposite sex in your life, but it's also understanding them and seeing them for what they really are and appreciating them as well. So I'd never done any masculine work or feminine work, and it's basically all the dudes straight away. You rip your shirt off, and you have to pretend like the other men in the room are trying to kill you. Pretty much, you have to act as angry as you possibly can, right?
And that would have been hard for you as well because you were never really an angry person like that, like just screaming and stuff like that.
No, I just had like the odd outbursts every now and then, and I didn't really know how to control my anger because I wasn't taught as a kid. But it was really hard. I felt a lot of uncomfortability to do that, and that taught me a lot. It taught me a lot that if you really want to and if you really need to, you can really turn it on if you really want to.
100%.
And so there's no smiling, there's no laughing in this room. It's dead set serious, and you're staring at another dude and another girl. It's both guys and girls doing it to each other, and you're staring at them as you know, as intently as you can, and you're screaming at them. Some people bawling their eyes out; they can't take it because they've had, you know, there could be some types of long time. So we do 5 minutes or 10 minutes at Cool to Be Conscious on the Sunday. This one is up to an hour of deep breathing. So what's actually happening in the body is there's a lot going on. Within 10 minutes, we even have people. So you get things like you can get tetany, which is your hands that are completely locking up. So they'll lock up stiff. So that's totally normal. It's a totally normal part of the process. And also the lightheadedness that you can experience.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and the tingling like you get as well, which is, they're all totally normal to what you're doing with your body. You're totally altering your oxygen levels within your body. And some people have never experienced this. You know, we're breathing like 24,000 times a day. normally. Like we're just everyone's
24 hours a day, 365 as well, which is, man,
it's wild, and no one pays any attention to it. The body just does it. So all we're doing is consciously breathing for 10 minutes or 40 minutes in this case, and the 40-minute deep breath is just something, if you've never experienced that in itself is a life-changing experience. It's a life-changing feeling. It's a life-changing moment, and there's nothing to be said about it unless you've gone there and you've done
been
there.
through it.
Yeah, and because it's so easy for people to say that it's not going to affect me, but we're all humans. We're all human beings.
Everything affects you, man.
Yeah. And the experiences that I saw within that room were just unbelievable. Like it was 100 people, and it was 40 minutes of just deep breathing. So in through the mouth, out through the mouth for 40 minutes. And after 10 minutes, you're starting to get some slight sensation. So after 40 minutes,
I can imagine what would be going through your body.
There's people, you can pass out, or you can hallucinate, or you can, there's a lot going on in your brain. And you have these huge realizations. You have this undeniable sense of clarity, and you start to see you for what you really are, which is a lot deeper than what people think. It's not just this physical body. You start to understand a little bit more about what's actually really going on, that we're all connected, that everyone around you in this room is experiencing a very similar thing, because we are all human beings and we're all connected. Yeah. And you get this sense of absolute, at the end, it's just absolute connection with everyone else. It's a connection that you feel back within yourself again. And that, for me, after that, obviously you do like a 15-minute, 20-minute guided meditation where you just sort of calm down. You're just sort of coming out of the state, bringing back your normal breathing rhythm. But yeah, there's people crying uncontrollably because it's bringing up trauma. A lot of people say breath takes you where you need to go, or it takes you to your pain if you have it. So certain people that are holding on to certain things, you can see them there. They're holding on. They're just tensed. And I see it a lot within men, especially, because we are taught to
hide it a lot, right?
Hide it, because you don't want to be seen as weak
or anything like that,
which is the old school way. Because we know now, and I know now, that showing weakness is your biggest strength. It's showing vulnerability.
Such an important message at the time, especially at this time as well, and that especially with men taking their lives, like the stats are crazy, right? And
crazy.
It's been able to create a space for them to talk about it as well. Obviously you guys have been able to do that in terms of stripping layers back and allowing people to be free through obviously meditation and breath work, and helping them realize that we all go through tough times as well, and being able to share that with someone, like just sharing that, like if you're going through a tough time, that could just be the game changer. It takes that one conversation, that one word, that one moment with that person to be like, hey, everything's going to be all right. So
sometimes that's all people need. And some people are just there for that, because one thing that I love about what I'm doing right now is that I'm in both. So I'm in the real estate and I've got that side, but I've also got you've got that perfect order and chaos. I've got the order and the chaos.
Nice little balance there.
I've got balance again, and I've got drive, and I've got purpose. And what I've noticed is that there are so many people down there, and I love that about this, is that people can just come down and they're not there to, it doesn't need to be so deep as what people think it needs.
Just
some
clear
people
the mind,
aren't
right?
ready. They're not on that level of awareness just yet to understand what's really, really, truly going on, or what they are. Or how powerful they are, then they might not be ready to take that all on. Some people are just there to be around people that are on a very similar wavelength, or they're just there to have fun, which is awesome as well.
Always talk about it as well. Be the fun, be the love. I think that's a little slogan that you guys got there, which is super cool.
100%, and that's literally what it's all about. The person who I learned how to approach life off while I was learning a little bit more about myself was his name's Ram Das. And for anyone out there that's looking into these sorts of things, look into Ram Das and look at where he come from. And it's a very interesting journey. He was like a Harvard professor. So he's a Harvard professor. He had everything. He had a boat, he had a yacht, a plane, a big red Triumph car and a motorcycle. He had all this money and 20 people working under him.
Yeah.
And he had this experience and he saw himself in the corner of the room and he said, that's not you. This version of himself said, that's not you and that's not important. And from that moment on, he said, I'm not going to chase these physical things. I'm not going to chase money because it's not going to make me happy because he already had it. And he gave all that up. And this isn't for everyone. This is just his individual journey. He gave that up and he went over to India and he started doing a pilgrimage, which is a spiritual journey underneath a guru. And he started learning about service, serving others and being of use to the world and being of purpose to the world. And that's all. This is what really kickstarted me, is that there are literally selfless people out there, and this is me. I've really got no agenda. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm literally just here to see people have that change in themselves, that same change that I saw within myself. And it's all about service. It's just giving back in whatever way that I can. If people get use out of it, it's amazing. And yeah, that person taught me how to be less selfish. The meaning of selflessness and the meaning of service, which is sort of what we're trying to do and what you're trying to do as well, is just help people get a little bit of a better grasp on who they are and a little bit of a better grasp on how strong they really are.
Sure.
As well. So yeah, I could just go on and on, because that person there sort of kickstarted my journey into just self-development, self-growth, and also how to respect myself and living a purposeful life while we're here.
For sure.
Giving back.
So now you're obviously a facilitator, especially on Sunday stillness. You do Thursdays as well?
Yeah.
Thursdays as well?
We do Thursday. That's a sunrise. A sunrise. So we get up and we do the same. It's just breath work and meditation, and we do like a bit of sun gazing, and sun gazing is just amazing. It's just a beautiful way to start your day, and it's a beautiful day to wake up your body. If you've ever heard of the Circadian Rhythm, so it's about your natural body clock. So when the sun comes up and you stare at the sun for the first 2 minutes, it's safe to stare at the sun. They tell us not to, but it is. It's totally safe, and it's good for you as well. So sun gazing for the first couple minutes in the morning, just to wake up your body, just to kickstart you. And then we just do like a quick 10-minute breath work and then a 10-minute guided meditation, and then we're on our way. So it's just like a quick starter, that one on Thursday. And Sunday's the same. It's just a quick flow. It's super simple and super easy, and it's for everyone. There's not a single person out there, and I really mean this, there's not a single person out there that wouldn't benefit. There's not a single person.
Yeah, 100%, and I fully agree with that. I've been a couple of times now, and for sure it's a perfect start. And we're talking about before, little meditation breath work on a Sunday, not hungover or anything like that, is peaceful, man. A little swim as well. Man, the water last weekend was super cold too, bro. But
it was.
You just get in there because you're so excited about the day, what, the possibilities of the day that could happen as well. And it's just, in terms of like building this platform, I just want people to, THATFIT is about all aspects of life, like having tools to be able to continue to progress, clear mind, like you said, you make better decisions, right? And it's the decisions and the actions that really determine your life, and this is what it's about. And it's so important to have this sort of aspect of your life, because it's so easy to brush under the rug and stuff like that. So in terms of Call to Be Conscious and your journey now, what's the goal? What's next for you? Obviously you talked about wanting to speak in front of 200 people. What's next for you?
So it's interesting to speak about what's next when I feel so present right now. And I've come so far in terms of my confidence levels has like tripled, or quadrupled. And
Definitely.
I just don't know where it's going to take me. I really am. I'm just excited.
Yeah.
All I know is that I'm excited and that I'm fired up and that I feel like I can do just about anything that I want. So I really honestly have no idea, because this happened out of what I'm doing now happened unexpectedly, and it
Like
just
one
happened
moment.
from self-work. Yeah. And I feel like the next opportunity will present itself.
You don't have to worry about it because you know
Not
it's
at all.
coming, right?
It's coming.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm doing the right movements and I'm hanging out with the right people, and I'm hanging out with people that are very, very in tune with what they want.
Yeah.
And they're very in tune with their purpose, and they're very in tune with who they are, and they're very in tune with what they do, what they put into their body, and it's rubbed off on me. And now I'm very aware.
You're just the product of your environment, right? There's always that saying, you're a product of the 5 people you hang out with. And if you're around 5 people that want to get after it every day, excited about every 24 hours, it can take you anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. So the answer to that question is I just don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't
It's
know.
just exciting, man.
It's just, yeah.
Because for most people, they'll be like, if I don't know, like, it's uncertainty, right? And they freak out. It's just like, uncertainty is probably like the best thing you could ever have, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And if you're willing to embrace it, good things happen.
Yeah.
You know, fortune favors the brave. And if you're willing to be brave, then, you know, anything is possible.
Yeah. Oh, exactly that. And if you do the right things, one thing that I would say to anyone that is out there that is not happy with their current circumstances, just coming from that place myself, would be take acknowledgement and take ownership of what you're doing in your spare time, what you're feeding your body, and what you're feeding your mind, but also what energy you're giving to people, and also the energy that those people are giving you.
Yeah.
That's key. Is so key. And even just take notice of that and go, those people aren't really serving me that
type of
much.
energy I want to be around, you know?
Yeah.
They're vibrant if they got that vibe about them.
And that was something that I really just took on board just for my individual journey, because I was just sick of it. I just wanted to improve my life, and I just wanted to live happier and healthier. And that's all this is about.
Yeah.
It's just about living longer while we're here. You know, you want to live longer, so you want to feed your body good things. And that's when the whole fitness side of thing comes into it as well. You respect yourself so much that you don't make
It's the first thing you take care of every day, right?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. Very successful people, that's the first thing that they do. Take care of their mind, take care of their body.
Yeah.
Everything else flows off the back of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crucial.
All right, bro. Appreciate you for coming on. Grateful. Speaking of grateful, what's one thing you're grateful for today?
I'm grateful just to be here, honestly. I'm grateful just to have this opportunity and to see my friends and to see my family speaking up and stepping up and taking control of their lives and having fun. This whole thing is supposed to be fun. This experience, this life that we're living is supposed to be fun. So that's what we got to do.
100%. All right, man. In terms of that, if you do want to check out Leon's work, check him out on Instagram, Leon_Bragg. There, Call to Be Conscious, Sunday Stillness. What time is that?
We're at 5:55 a.m.
5:55 down Burley Heads there. Super cool experience. I mean, if you're scared to go down, just flick me a DM, and we can go together. Get down there, experience it. It's super cool. Obviously, it's up to you, but super cool experience. I definitely enjoy it every time I do go there. So, appreciate you coming on, bro.
Big love, brother. Thank you. Amazing.